Hey everybody, it's your hospitality friend Glenn here on the AAHOA show floor. Suraj Bhakta of New Gen Advisory. First, I want to thank our friends over at Red Roof and AAHOA for allowing us to do this here on the show floor. So, spoke to you last year when we convened in New Orleans, and at the time, I was a little stressed out. I was worried about tariffs and their effects on the economy. And here we are a year later, another problem, another crisis. I'm getting stressed out. Before we get into that, how'd the first quarter look for you? How was the world before the last couple of weeks?
Well, you know, I mean, the last couple of years were pretty flat for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think one of the unique things that was happening was like, look, there's people that were trying to move because there was anticipation coming into the year. The rates were going the right direction.
Yeah.
There was some opportunity, looked like it was coming around the corner. And although we had a really strong first quarter, we can't shake the geopolitical issues. And as much as we want to say, hey, maybe it won't impact, maybe it won't, people get impatient, they're still going to do business.
I don't see how
It's hard to get around it.
Impact.
Hard to get around.
And particularly right now with fuel prices being so high. As we're recording this morning, I read about Delta. You know, they just raised the baggage fees, but I'm a Delta guy, and they just said expect prices to go up.
Oh, yeah.
A lot up. And I'm already paying 30-40% more than I was just a few years ago. So I'm getting a headache. That means everyone else must be getting a headache too. Yeah. Based on what you're seeing, how is the hotelier community feeling right now, and what do they think they can do about it?
You know, I don't necessarily know what, from the angle of what we can do about it, but I will say, you know, through the Sun Belt, we've seen a lot of different things happening, especially with the flight stuff. And when you're talking about that, I will say there's probably a significant drop off in the Sun Belt in some areas where we were getting a lot of Canadian traffic, visitors coming from overseas. All of that's really kind of dropped down a little bit, especially with all these things going on. And so that change has come up. But, you know, for the revenue side of hotel things, I'm still looking at guys, you know, they're finding other ways, right?
Yeah.
There's ways
They
to be
always
resourceful.
do.
Yeah,
They always do.
Technology is always going to play a role, and we know AI is on the forefront of everyone's attention. And I think we're pushing down that route a little bit.
Yeah, one of the things that I've said, and you may have heard this before, but over my 30-year career, every time that we seem to get at a ceiling, technology or something helps us break through that and create a whole new ability to be more profitable, lower expenses, all of that kind of stuff. But on the brokerage side of stuff, how are you seeing things right there now? Because I felt like things might have been picking up a little bit, but now the Fed is talking about maybe raising interest rates, certainly not lowering them. How do you think that's going to affect things going forward?
You know, we're going to kind of have to take our medicine again, really, right? I think a lot of the business owners, they were ready to get in kind of buying mode, and the sellers were getting a little bit more tempered in terms of bridging that gap that they were looking at. But I think now everyone's back in a standstill position, right? Like there's no other alternative. If you sell, there's no replacement values, there's no replacement costs. Like they don't know what to buy with that, you know, where costs have gotten so high. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a slowdown, much to my dismay, but hopefully things shake up a little bit, and then maybe we see some positive news in this latter half of the year that you might surprise us, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be surprises.
No doubt.
No doubt about that. But one thing that I am curious about is we are in a conversions market. I talked to a lot of the franchise folks about that and a lot of other industry stakeholders about that. How does a conversion market versus a new build market change the dynamic of your business and how people are looking to do transactions?
I mean, that's just opportunity, right? There's so many opportunities with the new brands, the new tiers of brands that everyone's rolling out, whether they're going to do something more at the economy scale, maybe mid-scale. Those opportunities, I think, are abound right now. Like people in a inflation market, you're going to find the cost-conscious person. So I think we're going to see, you know, there's a little tapering off in the economy and mid-scale sector. I think those renovations will start picking up because they'll see some uptick in traffic. And that usually bodes well for, you know, we're not seeing a lot of new product in that segment because it just costs too much to build. So I think those renovations will be really forthcoming.
To be fair, you are seeing new construction and like extended stay in the Sun Belt because those are growing communities. But as you know, we talk a lot about generalities over here. So generally speaking, you're right. But if you're seeing something different, it might be the fundamentals in your neck of the woods, to use that old cliche. Anything else that we need to know?
I think we're doing well. I'd love to thank you for having us again. Man. Always fun to be on the show.
Yeah, I always like having you on too, because you're so much smarter than I am. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Thanks, AAHOA. Thanks, Red Roof. Please like, share, subscribe this video, and check out these guys. See you later. Bye.